Hola, buenos días. Le estuve marcando, fíjese que la chucha, no sé si fue la que se rascó hoy en la mañana, pero que se descosió la heridita y se me le ha salido algo. Sí, mire.
A friend of mine in El Tunco who works at the brewery there, he said to me, "What's your payment for helping the dogs?" And it's the feeling that my hands can bring that solution, can bring that happiness, waking up and seeing healthy animals and the culture changing and people reaching out for help, seeking solutions for their animals and seeing them happy, really, that's all that I need. That's my payment. I'm Dana. I live in Chalpa. I have a rancho that has a lot of space, so I have a lot of dogs there that I've collected and cats. I think my heart is broken forever for Tigre until he passes away. I think I'll always hold this, what happened to him. He was my first. And then he had these bumps, the tumors in his eyelids. He had his eyes. He had beautiful brown eyes. And after the third injection, he looked like, wow, we're almost there. And then the fourth injection was done by a different person. Not a certified doctor, it was a pharmacist, and they brought the drug to my house and it was already mixed with vitamins, which vincristine chemotherapy, if I knew then what I know now, it's a very delicate drug. It has to be on ice, and he didn't have it on ice. Brought him to 3 different clinics in San Salvador. Everyone had a different answer. I remember just being on the side of the street and in San Salvador with Tigre, I don't know what's gonna happen, buddy. Yeah, that was tough. And then we did a video call with an ophthalmologist veterinarian in Guatemala because porque no hay acá. And she said, "I'm really sorry, Dana, but once the pressure is like this, above, and we tested it in San Salvador, there was a pressure machine above 25, let's say, value for more than 48 hours, the eye is destroyed and you just have to take them out." So she said, "You either euthanize him or take out his eyes." And I was like, well, the rest of his body's functioning and he seems to be, fine. And I've never done this before. So I sort of have this rule, like, I'll give up when the animal gives up, and I know when that is. And this wasn't Tigre. So I took out his eyes, both of them, and castrated him at the same time. Well, sorry, buddy. I have a history of working in veterinary medicine in Canada and a little bit in the US, but mainly with my auntie, who's a vet in Canada. When I graduated, I moved to New York. This is when I started to make some good money, working in the corporations, Google, Facebook, Yahoo, things like this. It was a shock to me. I didn't travel much when I was younger. I really started traveling after I paid off my student loans and had a job that allowed me to travel. And I realized with a little bit of money, maybe $100, I could change a dog's life. In Latin America, in India, in Africa, it was always the same theme that, where people were suffering, the animals were suffering, and there weren't a lot of services. Hola, Sasha. Con permiso. ¿Qué tal todo? Bueno, tengo cosas para las hembras.
Oh.
Gracias. Comper. Hola. Quiero ver cómo está Sasha. Tal vez el niño puede ayudar. Ella no quiere mucho. Quiere ver su estomago. ¿Cómo estás? Así es. Bien viejita. Ya. Poco a poco. Bueno. Este antibiótico, Iri.
Oh.
Ok, una cada día para la pringa. Ok. No importa la hora, solo una cada día. Así, tú sabes. Este son los vitaminas. Voy a explicar el mensaje, pero para Sacha y ella, porque son más, y Pringa, porque son más débiles. Entonces, quiere ayuda a dar una porción. ¿Tienes este? Perfecto. Dentro de acá. Entonces, ya. Con la pastilla así. Este para los chiquitos, negra tal vez, ¿ok? Y vamos con una porción más, así. Este para Sacha, ok. Pringa, Sacha, solo ella, buenísimo. Este para Pringa, dale niña, espera.
Este ya le di.
Perfecto. Bueno, y...
Solo falta ella.
Ajá.
Tengo ahí.
Perfecto. Bueno, ya no pelea. Buenísimo. Ok, estos son regalos. Ok, para concentrado también. Y voy a explicar estos después. Bueno, solamente este en el refri siempre. Vaya, ya estuvo.
Daniela, ahí va el primo.
Y ella seguro no es embarazada.
No.
Porque es un poco gordita. Bueno,
Ella no.
voy a esterilizar el martes. Tengo una
martes.
cita para ellas. About 2 years ago, I realized that I was going to let go of the cafe. And after this, some friends of mine that are doctors and working in the lab, we thought, let's make a clinic. And so here we are, little by little, with the experience, of the last 5 years of working in the colonias and with, people and understanding their needs, even beyond animals. It just makes a lot of sense to bring something bigger than myself into this region and bigger than just me on my motorcycle because One of the families that we visited together, Dominga in El Zonte, I've known her for years, and she was asking me for help with a dog to sterilize, and I told her, donations weren't really coming in as much in this moment, and she said, maybe you could talk to Dr. Lan, and she said, I'll connect you. And so she gave me her number, Dr. Lan's number, and I thought this would be a really cool space to do a pop-up sterilize campaign. And she said, okay, let's do it. I have connections with the University of El Salvador veterinary faculty. We connected with them, we made a plan. I started prepping 30 animals to be sterilized, a month later. The most vulnerable animals that need help are difficult, they're difficult to manage. you know, it's a lot of effort to capture, and sometimes we just don't have that kind of time. So we ended up sterilizing 22, but I thought, okay, Lan, may I rent this space and open a clinic here? And suddenly, you know, a couple months ago, maybe 4 months ago, she said, okay, Dana, I'm ready. First week of August, we signed, Lan and I. And so, and my team, you know, kind of came through with a friend of mine, Natalia. We were just in Tunco with drinks, and I told her about my vision, and she said, I know someone who has the lab equipment and would be interested in opening up a lab. We're gonna have the first laboratory on the beach. Right now, if anyone takes a blood sample from a dog or cat on the beach, it has to be on ice and sent to San Salvador. It's revolutionary what we're going to do here. On top of that, the academia, you know, I want education, adoption events. We're going to have everything available for people here. It's a nice big space. We have a bit, you know, minimal work to do, but it's going to cost. So that's why, you know, we're here. Lula, niñas. Hola, mamá. Qué guapa. ¿Cómo estás? Hola. ¿Cómo estás?
Bien, ¿y tú?
Todo bien, gusto verte.
Gracias, igual.
Hola, niñas. Hola, Canela. ¿Cómo estás, mis niñas? Y Brancher.
¿Qué?
Súper bien.
Sí,
Yo escucho un poco tos, pero
sí,
no mucho.
Ya, tranqui, ahí ya.
Okay,
¿Qué tal?
gusto verte.
Gracias, igual.
Hola. Yo encontraste mordientes acá y todo llena de gusano alrededor. Pero ya el recuperar muy bien. Estaba llena, hinchada, huele muy mal. Pero Branche, muy fuerte, ¿verdad, niño? Eso, Branche. Wow. Es diferente.
Carne. No, a la niña.
Entonces, él estaba tu primero.
Sí,
Y su...
él fue mi primer perro.
Y su mamá.
La mamá de él fue mi primer mascota.
Ajá.
Y ella pues yo la crié con leche materna. Porque me la dieron bien pequeña.
¿En serio?
Sí, me la dieron quizás como
¿Funciona?
Sí, mucho mejor. Sí.
Wow, no sabía.
Sí, así
Wow.
la crié a ella, a la mamá de él.
Wow.
Y se crió súper sana.
Ajá.
Súper sana. Luego pues ella pues tuvo su primer parto,
Ujú.
que fue él.
Branga.
Sí, tuvo 4 cachorros
Ujú.
y regalé 2 y no 3 y me quedé con él.
Branga.
Ajá, con Ranger. Él era un perrito, un cachorro súper explorador.
Ajá.
Saludes.
¿Cómo estás?
Hola.
No, gusto verte. Mua. Tengo una paleta para ti, si quieres.
Ok, me voy a cambiar.
Va.
Cuando vino mi amiga Lan,
Ya.
ahí fue cuando nos dimos cuenta que era gusano.
Pero no estaba como afuera, andaba con un hoyo.
Sí.
Y yo pregunto, ¿hay larva? Y tú me dijo, no, Dana. Y yo como, vamos a ver.
Sí, no
porque
le miraba
estaba
larva.
dentro el hoyo. Ajá, este estaba mi primer caso de gusano alrededor.
Sí,
Wow.
sí. Si no hubiera
Muy
sido
heavy.
por Lan, por ti, Ranger ya
murió,
no
seguro.
estuviera.
Ajá.
Y pues fue bastante difícil el cuidado con él.
Por ella también.
Por ella,
no
ajá.
quiere tocar. Ya, es diferente, el color un poco
Sí,
diferente,
no sé
pero
por qué, fíjate, cambia de cuando
tal vez
iba
el
a pelo.
spray, como tóxica con el sol, como limones. Si tiene limones en su piel. Abandonó, alguien abandonó. hasta proteger ella. Ella no puede caminar. Me imagino, yo no conozco estas chuchas. Yo vivo acá, nunca, ella no puede caminar. Bien dulce. ¿Dónde es tu casa? Ella bien hambre, mira, no entiendo por qué abandonó acá. Ella no puede caminar. Y tiene como algo adentro. Supongo que falta una pastilla más. Solo dar la amoxicilina, fíjate. Espera, niña. Tengo una jaula en mi casa. Yo puedo poner los dos. Así. So much work to do in this country. Infestación de purgas, garrapatas. Joven, ella está joven. Bueno. Yo le di para dolor, tal vez ella va a caminar después, pero tal vez tiene algo. And I'll be online, and you'll see me a lot online, asking for some, big support this time, so that we can really make what I'm doing sustainable and larger impact, because there's a lot of work to do. And this space, at the entrance, we'll put a mural outside. I have some people lined up to paint, beautiful, colorful murals with some dogs that are from the community with their faces. So I have a lot of ideas. I have so much vision. It's just poco poco, you have to start somewhere. And so this is, the next big step was signing the lease and putting the deposits and putting that energy out there. And it's gonna happen. I know it will. Yeah. Probably I put animals before myself a lot. And maybe it's an addiction now. I don't know. Like I said, I've had to do a lot of work to also say no and look away, because I have another plan for the day, but somehow it gives me purpose in life, and maybe that's selfish, but I think it's a good selfish, bringing joy and makes me happy. But I think the reason why I've become so focused on opening a clinic is because I have become tired. And emotionally, physically, financially, I can't continue, because the deeper that I go into these colonias, the problem just compounds. That's the idea with the private clinic, to sustain ourselves and pay our bills with people who can pay full service, and then always with the foundation allowing services for everyone, because this is what's really missing in every country.